Get ready for the feature presentation.
And now, he's my daddy, Marty Big Fly, and his best buddy, Lord James.
Welcome into the podcast. I appreciate you being here, Marty McFly. That's already been stated. That's Stu James, my best buddy from over 30 years, 20 years, 16 years, a long time.
Do you have to tell him?
That's already been stated as well. So let's jump into it. This podcast is all about spring break. I already have my spring break plans. Stuart James over there, I know he has his already. Interesting thing about this topic is, as we get into talking about it, for several years, our spring break plans were the same.
Yeah, and it just worked out that way. It was great.
First of all, what are your spring break plans? Do you have them? Where are you going? Here are the top 10 destinations for spring break. This is United States-wise. San Diego is one of them. Yosemite is another one. I've been to Yosemite. It's nice. Grand Canyon, the Outer Banks. That's in North Carolina. Honolulu. That would be a nice spring break.
No, that would be
Get
lovely.
on board.
Yeah.
The Bahamas.
Ooh, yeah.
And then Orlando, Walt Disney World, and in Anaheim, Disneyland rank behind that. Interestingly enough, your spring break is on that list.
Yes, it is.
You're going to Disney World, right?
Yes. At least I hope so.
Well, during the spring in Disney World, there's typically a lot of events that go on, a lot of competition-based events and things of that nature go on down there. I've never been in the spring. I've been in the fall twice.
Now, see, we went last year. Now, we went to Universal last year. This year, we're going to Disney. And I was surprised by the number of Europeans that were in Florida that time.
Really?
I didn't realize that spring break was such a big thing in Europe.
Listen, I mean, I think it's all year long. I mean, it's crowded in the fall. And I'm going back this year in the fall. Oh, I got to tell you this, too. I'm going to Disney World this year in the fall. And I've been to Disney World several times.
Right.
As a family, I think I've been 3 times, but I worked for 4 years in Florida, so we did a lot of promotions with them back in the day, and I was over there. But I'm so excited about this trip. We have a friend that used to live here in Nashville that works for a construction company.
Oh, rub it in. Go ahead, rub it in.
And this construction company has headed up the Star Wars land that they're building, right?
Now, it's supposed to open in 2019. I was hoping it would be opened in the spring, but no.
No, it's not open yet, no.
No, not yet.
So they are having a opening just for friends and family. And he told me, he said, if you fly down here, you and the family fly down here, I will get you in that night. So it's like I get to be one of the first to see Star Wars land. And me being as cheap as I am, the best of all is it's free. Except for getting down there.
Now, you've always said that I was like family. Will you take me?
Yeah,
I'll buy my own plane ticket. Come
If
on.
I can scooch some more people in, absolutely. I don't mind that.
I'm a big Star Wars fan, and I would love to go down.
I'd love to take you. I'll ask him how many members in my family that can be.
How extended family will you go?
Right. Soon I'll have a radio promotion. Hey, I'm bringing 36 people with me. Is that okay? Is that okay? I'll ask him that. Is that okay?
I have a feeling he's going to say no, but it's great that you're getting to go anyway.
This is the Marty and Friends podcast. We're talking spring break destinations. What's yours? I will tell you mine this year, and it's been this way. Oh, man. My spring break has been this for at least, ever since my youngest son started skiing.
Right.
Started snow skiing. It's been snow skiing every spring break because we used to go in the wintertime when he was little.
Right.
But then he decided he wanted to go, and he's great at skiing. So this has been our destination for years, and I've lost track. But we're going to Colorado this year, which I'm not a fan of Colorado due to the fact that it just tears me up physically.
Altitude sickness.
Oh, man. Well, and that's, I'll get into that in a minute if vacation's gone wrong, but that's our spring break destination this year. Obviously, that's not on one of the top destinations list. Most people don't think, ooh, I want to go be cold in the snow when it's spring break.
But a lot of people do, because now we've been out there before in Colorado and different places, and they're really packed for spring break. A lot of kids go out there.
Oh, yeah, it's busy. Don't get me wrong. To me, it's almost the perfect time to go in a lot of places because the temperature will be, let's say 34, 35.
And I know you think that sounds cold, but actually that's warm.
Well, not when there's mounds and mounds and mounds of snow there. It's
right.
It's not going to melt, number one. But here's the deal. You can ski with your jacket open. You'll need a jacket still, but you don't have to be so bundled up is what I'm saying. And you can ski with your jacket open and not be really hot or not be really cold. It's kind of right in that zone, right?
It is that. And in some days, it'll get up to like, 45 maybe?
Yeah.
Even hot. We've had it warmer than that. One of my daughter's favorite stories, we took her one spring break. She was little when she was still learning. This is when she was brave. She would ski with me. And we were going down a slope, and we got to a midpoint, and we decided we'd stop and rest. And two girls were skiing down the slope behind us, and all of a sudden they come flying past us. And my 5-6-year-old daughter looks up at me and goes, "Daddy, they were wearing nothing but bras."
They're skiing in their bikini tops.
They had their ski pants on, but they had bikini tops on. It was that warm that day.
Yeah, there one day a couple of years ago when we were in Utah, and I've been pretty much everywhere out west, all the ski resorts pretty much. We were in Utah, and it was really warm, and I just had my short sleeves on. One day, I mean, it just got so warm. It's just like one of those crazy. Next day, it cooled back down to the 30s, but it got up in the 50s. Mm-hmm. And I pulled everything off but short sleeves. And I said, I can't believe we're skiing in short sleeves. It was just kind of crazy. But yeah, there are those days.
Yeah.
And then there are those crazy people, too.
Well, a little mix of both.
That,
yes,
yeah. Top spring break destinations in the South. Number one on the list, and there were so many, they just kind of had to put this under one heading, Florida.
Just somewhere on the beach.
Well, I mean, people go to so many different places, right? I mean,
you've got Panama City, you've got Daytona, you have, I think, it's still Key West down that area. Do they go that far?
Well, I assume people do. I've been there. It's not as much as the Panhandle because you can drive to the Panhandle.
Right.
And let me say this, too. I would recommend Panama City Beach. I was there just about a week or so ago. For a long weekend, and it was amazing.
Nice, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. They're ready for spring break. A lot of the hotels have gotten upgrades, too, during the last season, so it's looking great. That has really become more of a family destination than, say, if you're thinking 10, 15 years ago. It's really more of a family destination now. So Panama City Beach, I would recommend. So Florida, number one. Here's some other places that made the top spring break destinations in the South. North Carolina. As far as, you can get over to the beaches in North Carolina.
Right.
Still Disney World on the list, outside just the typical Florida. Smoky Mountains still, and obviously it's convenient, it's there. Also making the list, and several places in Georgia made the list. Outside going to Atlanta, I never think about Georgia a lot. But there's one of the islands down there in Georgia that's very popular, and I can't think of the name of it right now. But if you want to go to Atlanta, there's the Coke factory. When you get to Atlanta, there's a I know that sounded funny.
It did, but
there's the Coca-Cola factory.
There you go. That's it.
Well, you can tour. If you've never toured that, you should. You go into a room, and there are all these machines, and you get to sample all the drinks from around the world, as long as you want. And you would think to yourself, I'll never get tired of this. You do.
Eventually you tap out, you go, no more, no mas.
I thought I would live in this room forever, right?
Yeah.
I thought I'll be in here forever because I can drink soda like nobody's business. But no, eventually you're like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
This is great, but I'm done.
Because you'll get a hold of a couple from foreign countries that are just, what's that? Grasshopper, what?
People buy this? Is this a North Korea thing where they're forced to drink this, or do they buy this?
Cucumber soda?
So anyway,
what?
there's also an aquarium down there. You go see the Braves or whatever. The Braves aren't playing yet. Maybe they're in spring training, right?
Yeah.
Right now. So anyway, there's several things to do there. So whatever your spring break destination is, there's some of the top ones. I certainly think with the economy the way it is, I think most places will be busy for spring break. I know Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge, from what I hear of people trying to get rooms, is already pretty busy and pretty booked.
It's tied up. In this part of the country, growing up here in Tennessee, there was really two destinations. If you wanted to go to a beach, you either went south to Panama City, or you went east to South Carolina, Myrtle Beach.
Right. Didn't you go Gulf Shores, though?
Yeah, Gulf Shores. That's in that Panama City area.
Still
They're real
same
close.
area, yeah.
Gulf Shores is in Alabama. Orange Beach is right there also.
Have you been to Myrtle Beach?
Yeah, years and years ago.
Yeah, I like Myrtle Beach. If you like to golf, it's great. But I love Myrtle Beach. It was the first boardwalk type area that I've been to on a beach where there's like, an amusement park right there. Mm-hmm. Really close to the beach. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
One of the first things. I thought that was really cool. I'll segue into this. Well, you have the best scenarios going when you plan your spring break. We're going to go. We're going to do this. We're going to have a great time. It's going to be nothing but fun. And then things happen. And it doesn't quite turn out like you thought it would turn out sometimes.
You always start with the best of intentions. And,
And let's face it, things can happen. You can have a breakdown. That's the most common one, right? You have a breakdown in your vehicle when you're driving there. Get the old flat tire. That's a kind of a temporary one, but the whole breakdown, that could kind of happen. Things can go haywire when you get there. You can get the flu, get the stomach flu. That's the worst. That's
Stop.
The worst on
Don't be
vacation.
saying that.
Get a kidney stone while you're
I'm knocking on wood. Oh, geez.
I'll share one of those, and I have to deal with this, and I didn't know. When you go out west, if you've never been snow skiing, if you go out to altitude, and that's typically places that are beyond 8,000 feet in elevation, if you go to that kind of elevation, you can get something called mountain sickness that they really don't talk about. It's like the best kept secret for people that live out there or that visit because they don't want you to know about it because it would kill tourism if you knew about it. But that's basically your body doesn't like the altitude and you start getting sick. And I'm not talking about like a cold sick. I'm talking about you can't eat, you can't sleep.
You have no energy.
You could be vomiting. I mean, it's just terrible.
We make it sound so lovely.
I got it the very first, and I've been out there a bunch. Mm-hmm. I got it the very first time I went. I had no idea what was going on. Every time I've been to Colorado, I've gotten it. It's 100%.
You just
I get it, yes. Within hours of getting there, I get it. First night, won't sleep any.
And what it is, your body's not acclimated to the lack of oxygen in the air. The air is thinner at altitude, and therefore your body has to adjust.
The first time I didn't know. I just kept getting sicker and sicker and sicker. And finally they said, well, you have mountain sickness. I'm like, well, what's that? Well, that's not on the brochure. What's that's just people having fun up here in the snow. Why didn't that make the brochure? Why didn't somebody bending over not being able to breathe and
or hooked up to an oxygen tank?
Yes. And that's what it is. You go to the emergency room, and the first thing, if you're not dehydrated and it didn't get real bad, the first thing they do is hook you up to oxygen, and just to rub it in your face, you feel better in about 20 seconds.
As soon as they put that mask
yes.
on.
Yeah.
And I laugh. I'm not making fun of Marty because, well, after the third time we went out there, I came down with it, and I had a whole new sympathy for him. It is rough.
Yeah. So when I go in, and I'll wrap up this particular story, but if you think you have to go through a lot of preparations for spring break, here's what I have to do. When I go to Utah, it's fine. It's lower altitude. I can ski there all day. When I go to Colorado, because the family wants to go to Colorado this year, this is going to sound terrible, like I'm 90 years old. I have to rent an oxygen tank and sleep with it when I go to Colorado.
And that sounds extreme, but they actually have them in the yellow pages. There's all kinds of them.
They deliver them right to your room.
Deliver them to your room, set them up, get you all ready to go, and then you lay in bed and you look like a poor guy who needs oxygen.
Yeah, really. Well, because you know why? Because I am the poor guy that needs oxygen. That's why. So when I go out there now, that has to be either I pick it up or they deliver. That's like on the agenda. You have to take skis, poles, clothes, plane ticket, oxygen tank.
Reserve the oxygen.
Yes,
machine.
It's on the agenda. So there you go. So every night when I'm on spring break vacation, I'm sleeping with oxygen going in my nose. But honestly, and make as much fun of me as you want to, and it's true. You know, it's a hassle, and I'm sleeping with oxygen. But man, it makes all the difference in the world. I can function.
Yeah, it allows you to sleep anyway. You stay refreshed.
Yeah. Well, here's the common sense thing of that. Then why do you go?
It is a lot of fun once you get there and once you get through fighting the altitude and all that.
I'll tell you why I'm going this year. My family made me. I'm just going to be honest with you.
They did.
They guilt tripped me.
They guilted him into it.
Yeah,
this could be one of the last times we get to go.
So here's the deal. I'll tell you this, and I'll rat on my wife. I don't mind doing it. It's my podcast, right?
That's right.
So I'm going to rat on my wife here on the Marty and Friends podcast. My name's Marty McFly. That's Stu James right over there. My wife this year said, let's go to Colorado because she has family out there that will ski with us. Let's go. I'm like, no, I'm not going to go. And then I said, you guys can go. That's fine. I'm not going to go, right?
Right.
Tries to talk me into it several times. No, I'm not going to go.
Now, let me ask you a question. Are you staying with her family?
No.
Okay, so it's not a rooming thing, so you're not crashing at their house or anything.
No, because they have to travel to the slopes, too. They live in Denver. You know, to get to a ski resort, you got to go about
they're going to crash with you. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah. So I said, no, you guys can go. She books her tickets.
You told her to.
Right.
What do you expect?
And she does. And so now I already took the week off. So now am I going to stay home by myself on spring break which I did really think about.
I was about to say.
I almost did.
That crossed my mind, and I thought, wait a minute, that would be a week of peace and tranquility?
Yes. I was just afraid that it wouldn't be great motorcycle riding weather and I wouldn't have anything to do. So anyway, I got guilted into it, and I bought mine, and here we go. My point being to this, if you are on your spring break and you run into something small, say a flat tire, say you have a bumpy plane ride if you're flying there, I mean something small and insignificant, say you're in Gatlinburg and it rains a day, right? Just keep in mind, I have to have oxygen every day to survive on spring break.
Marty's hooked up to a machine
If you want to feel better about yourself,
just to get through the day.
keep that picture in your mind. I need oxygen on spring break. You don't.
Yeah.
Everything's good. Whatever your spring break plans are, I hope it goes wonderful. And we had a lot of fun just kind of hanging out and having fun during this podcast. Thanks for listening.